সুধী দর্শক শ্রোতা, আমাদের টেলিভিশনের নিয়মিত আয়োজনে স্বাগতম। আজ আমাদের মিউজিক আড্ডায় আমন্ত্রণ জানিয়েছি দুজন বিশিষ্ট ব্যক্তিত্ব, মার্কিন যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের লস অ্যাঞ্জেলেস শহর থেকে। দুজন মানুষ যারা শিক্ষক, তন্মধ্যে একজন যশোয়া ডোরন, তিনি একজন মিউজিশিয়ান এবং মিউজিক টিচার। আরেকজন আছেন আমাদের সাথে নিকাসিও, তিনি একদিকে একজন অধ্যাপক, সে সাথে সঙ্গীত প্রেমিক। Hi Joshua, welcome in our
Hi, how
studio.
are you?
I'm
Good
fine.
evening.
Thank you so
Happy New
much
Year.
to join with us. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And another one, my beloved teacher, Professor NIcassio.
Happy
How
New
are you,
Year.
Professor? Happy New Year. So today I have first question to my respected teacher, Mr. Joe Duron. We know that you have very good experience. Can you please briefly tell us about your journey, where you began, and how you got to where you are today?
Yes, I'm a musician and an entertainer, actor. I've been playing music professionally for about almost 30 years, and for my own personal enjoyment ever since I was a child. There was probably for about 35 years. And also, I think I've there's so many ways, there's so many journeys and paths that I've taken to land me where I'm at right now. I mean, I've played in many musical styles and musical genres, different parts of Los Angeles. I'm very much a veteran of the music scene in Los Angeles. That's it.
And sounds good. Who has influenced you most in your journey as an artist and an educator?
I would say my parents, my mom and my dad. Yeah, they both. My mom is an artist, and my mom is an artist as well, and my grandfather was an artist as well. They're both very much multi. They did a lot of things. They painted and they worked in the yard. They were good with agriculture, and they were builders, like constructioners, and they build houses and stuff like that. They were very good with their hands, and so yeah. I would say my mom's family, my dad. My dad's a very funny man, very charismatic man, very talkative man. As you can see, I'm very, very much like that. So I would say my mom and my dad.
Professor Nicasio, please tell us something about yourself.
Well, first of all, again, it's an honor to be here with you. I guess what I would say in the context of the conversation today is I am someone who is inspired by other people, inspired by people from around the world, different cultures, and certainly that plays into my love for music. And although I'm not a musician at all, I have a deep love for music, and part of this comes from an interest in different ways of being and different philosophies of life, different people and cultures, and so that really is a big part of me, and why I chose to choose the path that I'm on now as a professor of English and ESL. I really feel like I'm a lifelong learner, and as I've gotten older, I have more questions than ever, and so even though my students often thank me for teaching them language. I think that my students teach me so much more about life. So I love people, and I have an interest in learning about about perspectives from all over the world, like your own, Swami.
What inspires you?
Is that for me?
Yeah.
Oh, what inspires me? Music inspires me. People inspire me. Uh, um, Hope inspires me. I've been really this year in particular. I've been hanging on to hope, barely, because it's been obviously a very difficult year for so many people. Personally, I faced a lot of individual challenges this year also, and I've been looking for hope outside of myself, because I haven't had a lot of it in me. So I've been looking for it outside of myself, as I say, looking for it through how how people around me that I'm blessed to have around me, uh, not necessarily physically, but in shared space and cyberspace. Looking to friends and family, and how they express hope. Music is a huge vehicle for that. Uh, um, and so I'm inspired by other people. That's what I'm inspired by most, I think, is the journeys of others, and how they find their way through this life.
Hmm.
Sounds great. Professor Joshua, what has inspired your trajectory professionally and personally, and what inspires you today?
Um, when I was younger, when I first started out as a musician, just I was a teenager, 17, 18. I had a friend who was an artist and a poet and a musician, and he was very influential to me. He was about a year older than me, but when he was 22, he took his life. But I have these people that are like kind of influenced me throughout the years, just like people you meet, friends, people that say that they were inspired by you. Actually, you get inspired by them. It's kind of like a reciprocal inspiration, how we inspire each other. Take for instance, I just recently lost a friend last month, this past December. I mean, a few weeks ago actually, and she was a follower of one of my bands in the '90s, and I used to just. She thought that she was admiring my band and my art and my talents, but really, I admired her as a human being. So there was like a mutual admiration that I keep talking about. So I'd say like anytime inspiration comes, it's just a byproduct of your shared experiences with other people. It's like it's just it's like cheese. You know what I mean? It's like just a little bit that you get from the cow, right? The cow is the experience. The cow is the is the shared experience between human beings, and like the art and the inspiration is very minuscule in the scope of life. That's it.
Really? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, another question, how do you understand the nexus between music and culture? How has this relationship influenced your path?
And who's that to?
I think that's you, Josh.
Oh,
We need to wait.
what was the question again?
Yeah. Do you hear
Let
me?
me.
Joshua?
Let me look at the question one more time.
Yeah, so
Oh,
the
how has
question is like nexus between music and culture and the relationship. How has this relationship influenced your path?
oh, okay. You know, it doesn't. How I understand it is, it kind of like it's like very, uh, it's just something that you can't like pull apart. Music and culture, you know. Uh, I feel like I'm almost like a servant to the masses, to people, as a musician, as an artist, as a medium between the divine and humanity on earth. So I'm a servant in that, in the sense that I that's what I do. I'm just uh, uh, someone that can like interpret these impulses and recreate them as music. You know, um, when I try to teach somebody music, I try to teach them how to understand what they're doing, right? Because a lot of it, when I started playing music, it was very natural, very like magic. Wow, like I was very natural at it, but it was very, it didn't do my ego justice. I had to kind of learn how to like what I was doing. I had to learn the power and the science of what I was doing, and realizing that how I fit in, and what I was doing, what I was contributing. So whenever I teach somebody music, I just want them to understand, like baby steps, like learn how to have fun on the piano or drums, or learn how to have fun with their friends, and share happiness. And if that will inspire them to be a musician or an educator, then that's good. But that's extra. I'd rather them be happy as an individual.
Wow. And what do you aspire to do in the future?
Uh, would that be me? Yeah. What do
Yes,
I aspire to
yes,
do?
yes.
I aspire to create more music, to normalize the presence of people of color on media. Also, I plan on just trying to inspire myself and the people that I work with, in a positive direction. And yeah, and that's how I define happiness. If you want to ask, that's the next question, right? How do you define happiness? Is like just trying to be able to. Well, first of all, is to be able to live life here on Earth is very rewarding, and it's a privilege. So once you realize that you are blessed here on Earth, um, you try to share that happiness and blessedness with other people. So the more you can create happiness amongst people, the more smiles you can create. I feel like that's you're on your way to being happy, I guess, is if you can create happiness amongst other people.
Now, Professor Nicolas Nicasio,
Hello.
um, why did you decide to become an ESL professor?
Uh, I just sort of, it just sort of, the way I can best describe it is for lack of sounding, you know, uh, um, it sort of found me. it was, I would say, kind of like maybe even divine intervention, because my plans were different. When I was in college, my plans were different. I was planning on going to study law. I was about 2 or 3 months away from starting law school. I was accepted to law school at Pepperdine University, which was I was really excited about. And my father about within that a few months of my getting accepted, my father passed away, and my father was my best friend. Um, this year, I mean, I think about my father every day, but this year, the emotions have really swelled back to that time when I lost my father. It was 20 years ago, 2000, because I've lost another person this year, and so many of my friends and loved ones have lost so many people. And I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but it's just my plans were to study law, and after I lost my father, I just took a step back, and I decided that I wasn't going to law school, and I didn't even know why. It wasn't going to happen, at least not then. And I took a part-time job in Alhambra, where I grew up, at a private ESL adult school, and I was teaching. I was hired to teach TOEFL, and I just fell in love with teaching to international students, and I already had a love for language. I grew up with a love for language, mainly because in a lot of ways, growing up, I was very introverted, and I had a lot of challenges as a young person. One of which was a sick parent. A divorced family, divorced parents, and writing was my outlet. So writing was a way for me to sort of just channel my energy in some way that I could try to make sense of what was happening around me. And so I already had that part of me that was very, I was very, I just love to write. I love to read poetry, and of course music, lyrics. Lyrics of music have always been when I my favorite songs are usually so, because in part because of the words, and how I've internalized them. So it just sort of found me. I say maybe divine intervention. If that's not saying too much. I feel like it just it found me, and not a day goes by since I started teaching TOEFL that I would want it any other way. I mean, I feel really grateful and blessed every time I'm able to work with people like you. Meeting you was incredible. Meeting so many people from all over the world, it's a dream come true. I've always wanted to travel, and I have this fear of planes. Can get personal here. I have a really major. I haven't been on an airplane since I was 12 years old. That was to visit my brother in Las Vegas, and I'm very, very, very unnerved about getting on an airplane. I'll get into my psychological issues there, but thank God I'm able to meet people from around the world without doing so. I get to meet people like you in a classroom and get to sort of travel without traveling. So, yeah.
I have another question to you. How do you integrate music into your curriculum?
Wow. Yeah. So I my classes are college classes, and my students are they're adults, many of whom are older than I am, and as I mentioned, I value so much their opinions on everything, and so I use music in different ways. In a reading class, I may ask students to read lyrics, and ask them for their response. But what I've been doing recently is teaching on Zoom. I've been starting every class with a music video of my choice, and I offer students. What I try to do is I try to integrate that music video into some larger discussion that try to try to put it in the context of whatever that particular discussion is for that day. But that doesn't always work out. Sometimes the song isn't really directly related to what we're talking about for the majority of the class. So what I do is I always offer students like extra credit if they want to give me their interpretation of what that song means to them. And I also ask students to, we have, I teach conversation classes, and I often bring up music, because music is sort of, it's the universal language. And so I ask students to share, some music from their cultures, and use that as a conversation point for us for not only myself, but for students in the class to engage and learn about other cultures in a way that's interesting, and universal. Yeah.
I have some picture I have. Can you share your memory?
Sure. You show me these pictures. It's interesting, the ones you chose. I appreciate those. Yeah. This is a great memory. You can get me all emotional looking at these pictures, because I haven't seen these people in a long time. I haven't seen my brother in a long time. I haven't seen my uncle in a long time. This is at my uncle. So that was at the one you just went through was my cousin's wedding, and this is my mom. This is my fiance Sarah, and that was at Buca de Beppo in Pasadena. Dodger game was a couple of years ago. I'm a big Dodger fan, and
I have something special, and question is right now to Professor Joshua Duron. Joshua,
Yes.
I would like to look.
Oh, that's me when I was 5 years old playing soccer. Yeah, 5 years old. Where did you get that? That's terrible. That's from last Halloween. That's a Halloween costume last year.
It's available on your Facebook. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, those are just drummers that I'm inspired by. That's a Neil Peart from Rush.
Yeah.
What? That's what is that? Oh, that was the last show I ever played before the pandemic. Actually,
Wow.
that last gig I ever played.
Was that last year, Josh?
No, that was this year.
Oh, okay.
That was this year. That's this year. That was these are all shows that I did before the pandemic, before March. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You organized that show? A lot of artists there.
Pardon me?
Did you organize this show?
No, I didn't. I was just a part of. I was just an actor in the show.
Wow,
Actor and
really,
musician.
Professor. You did great job.
Thank you.
What's this?
Who's that? That's the drummer for Quiet Riot. You know who that is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who is,
Frankie
who is the
Bannerman.
guy?
Yeah, he just died recently. He died last year. Or this past
Oh,
year.
yeah,
Takes me back to my childhood, quite right.
just nice.
That was the last show before. Well, that was last year's show actually. Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Yes. And that's Beyond Drums.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
You hear me,
I can hear you.
Professor?
Hi. Yeah. Right. Yeah. We're good. I hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Joshua. Right now, can you share one? The question is, how do you define happiness? How has this understanding helped you navigate your career choices?
How do I define happiness? Making people happy. Yeah, and that's making people happy. It's what made me continue what I do, playing music and acting. Yeah.
And what are some of the most poignant moments in your career? Why were they so meaningful?
What are some poignant moments in my career? Going to school, probably playing certain shows here and there. Um, just because maybe because my parents were there. Anytime that my family comes and sees me play, that's a good time. Yeah.
And there is another question like, how has this pandemic influenced your sense of self and your work? And what you hope for the future?
It's just forced me to look more inward, I guess, more inside myself, more. It just makes you kind of like more look inside yourself, what you at your strengths, your weaknesses, and maybe kind of like it helps kind of like inspire you in a way to kind of like choose it, make some different choices, make the same choices, maybe choose a different path, choose different, you know, things to do, keep yourself busy. We're all inside our houses, so we gotta keep busy to keep for our own sanity.
Yeah.
So mhm.
Sounds good. And now I have question to my respected and beloved Professor Nicolas Nicasio. Brother, um, what do you like most about your profession?
That's easy. The people, the people. Um,
Mm,
you know the gratitude that people have taught me by showing their own gratitude. My,
mm,
my students are some of the most inspirational people I've ever met in my life. I've got a lot of students who.
mm,
One student comes to mind right now, and she came from Mexico, and
mm-hmm,
one day we were talking about this is an example, right? But I have many more like her that she just what she went through as a child
mm-hmm,
with her family. That she used to have to walk, some distance, nearly a mile, to
mm-hmm,
bring her family water every day. Pails of water to to cook food, to bathe, and she's just an incredible person. She's an incredible mom. She's an incredible student. She's one of just many people who,
mm-hmm,
despite all she's been through, she has this light, this light of positivity and this light of hope, and
mm-hmm,
and so it just humbles me. It's just they, like I said earlier,
mm-hmm,
I'm not the teacher, like I'm not the professor, I'm the student, and in the bigger scope of life,
mm-hmm.
I'm teaching about nouns and verbs and
Got
adjectives,
it.
and they're teaching me about life. So that's really what inspires me most. That's what I enjoy most is the people.
Do you have any favorite course, Professor?
Favorite quotes, yeah. So I was thinking about, uh, as I mentioned, I have a lot of favorite quotes, but some of my favorites, most of my favorites are from music, and many of which are from, as you can see behind me, Mr. Bob Marley, one of my
Mm-hmm,
favorite people ever. And the music of Bob Marley and the Wailers, among others, have gotten me through a lot. And so the
mm-hmm,
first one is from one of my favorite songs, "No Woman, No Cry."
mm-hmm,
In this great future, you can't forget your past.
mm-hmm,
That's a favorite. Um, uh, Basically, the
Thank you so
entire
much, Professor.
sure, sure. The entire redemption song is like one long quote that I think is, even
Wow.
though it pertains, you know, in at one level. I mean, if you read the lyrics, certainly this is about, um, the struggle of of uh, of African people and what they were put through by colonialism, um,
Mm-hmm.
and how and the sort of journey of redemption
Mm-hmm.
of of,
Mm-hmm.
of cultural redemption, personal spiritual redemption. But I think also that this song it sort of pertains to everyone, that we all have a journey of redemption in some way. Any human who's gone through any trial or tribulation has we have this inner drive to find our way back home. So that song um, uh, is incredible, and that perhaps what sums it up, if in a shorter sense, is maybe the chorus or these lyrics here. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Of course, it goes on, and the last one is a quote I often share with my students. This is from John Lennon, uh, and I read this one. I can't remember when. I was very young, and it just always stuck with me. The quote is, when I was 5 years old, my mother always told me that happiness was the key to life. When I went to school, they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wrote
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down happy. That they told me I didn't understand the assignment, and I told them they didn't understand life. So that's the last one there. Yeah, among
So,
the others.
yeah, thank you, Professor Nicholas Nicasio and Joshua Duron. We are gonna end part of the program, but before gonna finish, I have a request to Mr. Joshua. Can you share something? Can you enjoy your little bit performance? Any singing or something?
Oh no, I don't have nothing planned right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wish I did. I did. Well, you know what? Let me see. What do I got right here?
I
Oh, well,
think
look.
behind
I
of you
have
there is
a.
a drum, right? There is a drum behind of you.
Well, there is a drum. There's all kinds of instruments around here. All kinds of. See.
Wow, it's great.
Something like that. So, anyways, yeah, I'm sitting on an instrument right now. Anyways.
Yeah, that.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Really,
Thank
it's,
you. Have a good one.
today we enjoyed, yeah, and hope we will see again. And stay safe. Pray for both of you. And
Yes.
Happy New Year again.
Yeah, happy New Year to you both. Let's all, hopes and prayers that we have a better year ahead of us. Yeah.
Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you for
Thank
having
you,
me, Swami.
Professor Joshua. Thank you, Professor Nicholas Nicasio.
Thank you for having me, Swami.
Thank you. শুধু দর্শক শ্রোতা, আমাদের এতক্ষণ ধরে যে আয়োজন ছিল মার্কিন যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের দুজন শিক্ষক বিভিন্ন শিক্ষা প্রতিষ্ঠানে যারা শিক্ষাদান করছেন, তন্মধ্যে একজন সঙ্গীতের অধ্যাপক, আরেকজন ESL প্রফেসর। তো আমরা চেষ্টা করেছিলাম কিছুক্ষণ ঠিক মার্কিন যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের যে সংস্কৃতি সে বিষয় নিয়ে আলোচনা করতে। আশা করি আপনাদের ভালো লেগেছে। ঠিক আমাদের ক্যালিফোর্নিয়া টাইম রাত ৮টা। এখন থেকে ১ ঘন্টা ৪০ মিনিট পরে আমাদের আরেকটি আয়োজন বাংলাদেশের রেনেসাঁ ব্যান্ডের একজন বহুমাত্রিক প্রতিভা নকিব খান তিনি সংযুক্ত হবেন। আশা করি আপনারা সাথে থাকবেন।